Onyxcoin or XCN went on a massive run and then subsequently it dumped. The question is, does it make sense to buy this bottom? Let's have a look at some on-chain metrics, the data that most people are not considering. Now, this is not the first video on Onyxcoin on this channel. I published one roughly 5 days ago and that video got 267 subscribers, and probably for good reason. The video was published when we were at 2.6 cents to subsequently go up by another 80% to now being back down to original levels. I publish videos on altcoins regularly on this channel. I like to look for altcoins that have positive momentum, but at the same time that still have some upside potential. So if you want to be early next time, feel free to subscribe over here. Now, there are two versions of Onyxcoin. There is XCN on Ethereum and there's also XCN on Base. Those are the only two versions that are price coupled. Please do not buy the token on Solana. Those are scam coins. Now, on Base, the token is not trending. It's not that active over there. On Ethereum, it's the 38th largest coin in terms of liquidity. And so in order to do some on-chain analytics here, we have to look at both token versions, right? There are some holders on Base and some on ETH. On Ethereum, we've got 33,000 holders. On Base, we've got 9,000 holders. There are some tokens that are burnt or that are sent to a dead address. So that's in total roughly 30% of the supply. And there's 18% of supply that is time locked. More on the tokenomics at the end of this video. We also see ownership by centralized exchanges, for example, over here Uphold. And the same is true for the token on the Base chain. Over here are some holdings by Gate.io. Now, the Ethereum token has been around for a while. On the left side, we see all the wallet holders. On the right side, we see the whales. And in the middle, we see retail. We see how the number of wallets is increasing over time. And we see how this is slower the higher the wallet balance is. Now, to be counted for the chart in the middle, a wallet has to hold at least 37,000 tokens. That's currently roughly $1,000 worth of the token. To be counted for the chart on the right, the wallet has to hold 3.7 million tokens. So that's $100,000 worth of the token. You can clearly see how, especially recently, it's rather the small retail holder that bought in. It's not necessarily that much the whales, even though the whales do accumulate over time. So those are the Ethereum numbers. Here are the same numbers on Base. And with Base, we can see those charts start in July of 2024. So the token has only been around for roughly half a year on Base. The heavyweights are mainly on Ethereum. There aren't that many whales that hold the token on Base, but the trends are very similar. What is interesting is that especially the recent growth by retail investors mainly happened on the Base chain. So again, here's Ethereum, but this time we only look at the last month with the same kind of holding thresholds. The number of wallets on Ethereum roughly doubled in the last month. The number of medium-sized holders grew by roughly 60% or so. The number of whales also grew, but much slower, maybe by 10%. But here are the same numbers on the Base chain, again, just for the last month. That went from 600 all the way to 9,000, so a 15x. Even the wallets that have $1,000 worth of the token almost 3x'd, and the number of whale wallets also almost doubled from 7 to 13. So clearly Onyx is becoming the new darling on the Base chain, and what seems to be happening is that the people that bought Onyx early, they take some profit. It's not the small retail investor that's taking profit, it's the larger guys, right? This is the number of wallets that have at least $10,000. But again, a correction like this, can that justify a price drop of 40%? Something else seems to be going on here as well. Now, since Bitcoin hit 100K, it has a pretty hard time climbing. We actually tended to see lower highs and lower lows in the last weeks. And at the same time, there isn't any more money flowing into crypto. This is the stablecoin market cap over the last weeks. And if this continues for too long, then things could potentially turn around again and we could start another bear market. Now, what happened over here was the Terra Luna collapse, right? This is when the Anchor protocol went bust, when the UST stablecoin imploded. It started a bear market that lasted for more than a year, during which also FTX collapsed. But then in October of 2023, we turned around. But now it seems like the market has a hard time expanding further. It's It's truly becoming player versus player again. Now, when there's altcoin season, we can buy pretty much any cryptocurrency and they all double and triple. But I'm not sure how close that is. Have a look at the others dominance. So this shows how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And yes, this tends to rise over time and the current risk to reward doesn't look too bad. But have a look at the inverse of that, the Bitcoin dominance. When the Bitcoin dominance is very high and it then subsequently crashes, that's when there's altcoin season, right? The altcoins become more important. Bitcoin becomes in turn less important. Now, there's been two major altcoin seasons in the past. One happened at the end of 2017. The other happened at the beginning of 2021. So it's marked here by those yellow circles. Here is the long-term Bitcoin price with those same yellow circles. So when did altcoin season happen in the past? It happened after we had already a massive bull run in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin made its multiple X returns from the last bear market. And when Bitcoin was very high and when people wondered what's the next Bitcoin, that's then when the altcoins went off. Now the question is the current bull market enough? Last time when we started altcoin season, we went up by almost 1,000%. This time we went up by only 500% roughly. We are a little bit in no man's land. It seems like we're in a similar situation to September of 2018. So that's here, this red circle, right? We are pretty much at the same level in Bitcoin dominance. We are not at those extreme heights where more than 70% of the crypto market is Bitcoin. We are still just at 58% dominance. And so really navigating a time like this is relatively hard. It's more important to really have an edge in the market, to know more than the average market participant, to buy the assets that other winners are buying as well. Just have a look at how confused the market currently is. The best category within crypto in the last 7 days was AI frameworks. But the worst performing category was AI memes. So we can't say that everything AI is going up. Returns are getting more and more concentrated in just a few winners. If you make a 10x, then 9 other people have to lose pretty much everything. It's zero sum right now. The market isn't expanding in the last weeks. And so here is how I navigate the situation. I'm tracking other influencers that tend to make very good trades. For example, here, Kyle Chessy. Kyle Chessy bought the GOAT token at 14 cents. So that was over here. Subsequently, the price went up by more than 800%. But it's important to also take profit because once attention moves to the next token and the price goes down, we are now only at 33 cents again. You want to be early. You don't want to buy into a token where attention tends to decline. Or here, another Kyle Chessy purchase, Fartcoin at 5 cents. Again, a very, very nice run, more than 3,000%. But now attention is declining again, right? It's player versus player. The assets aren't growing that quickly anymore. One more Kyle Chessy purchase at 0.3 cents. 13 comments. Now Griffane is at 44 cents. So a 14,000% gain. And so this is what the game is all about. It's about buying things when not a lot of people know about this. It's about buying things when the insiders start to get in, when the top traders start to get in. Now I've talked about Kyle Chessy now several times. Here is his YouTube channel. He's got 142,000 subscribers. And the reason why we know what he's buying is because we track his wallets. We've got 12 of his wallets where we get signals whenever he's buying or selling something. But we're not just tracking Kyle Chessy. We are also tracking Alex Becker. He's got 1.5 million subscribers. When he talks about a token, of course this generates attention and attention turns into purchases. We've got 12 of Alex Becker's wallets. Or here we've got Crypto Banter. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. And we've got 33 of their wallets. And so how can we be early? We can be early by buying the things when all the top people are getting in. And so of course now it's more important than ever to be part of this inner circle, right? To not just buy something random on a list, because I'm not sure how close altcoin season really is. Now of course not every trade that an influencer makes will make thousands of percent, because especially the larger tokens, they need a lot of capital to move the price, but the smaller tokens, they are more high risk but also more high reward. And so I really like this strategy. I like the strategy of trying to find other influencer wallets, because the influencers of course don't post this officially, we have to use on-chain analytics to find them. And so I've made several videos. First of all, how can we find those wallets, but then also how can we track the wallets, how can we get alerts whenever they buy or sell, and then how can we interpret the alerts that we get from the tracking. It's all part of the premium membership of this channel. Premium is not just about wallet tracking, it's also about on-chain analytics, it's also about risk management. There's more than 100 videos in total. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first week and I'll refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. The fundamental question is, does it make sense to buy this bottom, as in how much more upside is there actually? Can we potentially exceed the prior top? Let's have a look at market caps. Here's a list of other proof of stake blockchains. And Onyxcoin has a market cap of 866 million, which is actually not large at all for a layer 1. There are way larger cryptocurrencies, usually layer 1s that have adoption are in the billions. Aptos has 4 billion, Algorand has 3, Polkadot has 9 billion almost. And so then one has to ask the question, why is XCN not in the billions of dollars? Probably this is the reason. This is the total value locked on the Onyx chain. It's now at $184,000 and used to be at 30 million. At one point there was also a protocol hack and the protocol was never able to really recover from that. Yes, the recent rally is impressive, but we did see a price of 18 cents at one point. I believe that during the time when the price went up, the market makers got a lot of the supply and they're now trying to generate some volatility. They're trying to generate some attention on the token to get retail to buy in more. And it seems to work, right? A lot of retail investors bought into the token in the last month. But here's the reason why the market makers push up the price and why they increase the volatility and why they also then depress the price by 40% to then invite new people to buy in. It's because of the tokenomics. The supply is increasing over time, the foundation and the treasury is getting more and more tokens, and that will of course long-term depress the price. And if you as a market maker hold a lot of the supply and you're facing that selling pressure, you are incentivized to increase volatility, to increase attention, to then offload some of those tokens. Most trading volume actually does not happen on Base. It's a very small sliver of the trading volume, only 0.15%. Most trading volume happens on Coinbase and on Gate.io. On top of that, there's also leverage in the price. There are perpetual futures on Bybit and on XT.com. XT.com is a white labeled Binance, by the way. And so as long as attention is high, as long as the small retail investor continues to buy, the market makers are likely going to continue to offload. So I don't think this is the best time potentially to buy Onyx. When the market was still expanding and was a good time to use a trailing stop loss, that's when you want to be in. But now the momentum has shifted and now attention is still high, and buying bottoms like this is not necessarily always great because the bottom can continue bottoming as long as enough people are willing to buy. And so far, enough people are still getting in. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers.